In the top stories, rapid testing now available in the Federation. St. Lucia's Teachers Union opposes vaccine mandates, and long COVID now has an official clinical definition. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today's Monday, October 11th, 2021. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey. Nationally, health authorities in St. Kitts and Nevis are now offering COVID-19 antigen testing for outbound travelers in addition to RT-PCR tests. Chairman of the National COVID-19 Task Force, Abdia Samuel, announced the change during the most recent NOC COVID-19 briefing.
In our discussions with the hoteliers, we also discuss the departure test. So as it is right now, for you to depart the Federation, depending on the destination you're going to, most destinations are requiring tests. Eventually, in order to have an easement and also to enhance the experience of our guests and our tourism product, we are of the view that persons who will be departing the Federation should be able to undergo a rapid test or antigen test based on the destination and the acceptance of the destination.
He noted that most destinations require a negative COVID-19 test to be submitted before arrival. The range of testing has expanded as countries begin to alter their travel stipulations. Mr. Samuel said that the news has been welcomed by hotel operators as it will help to enhance the visitor experience pertaining to the departure protocols for outgoing travelers. Similarly, the decrease in demand for RT-PCR testing will enable local laboratories to expedite the processing of tests for locals as well as international travelers in quarantine. Inbound travelers to St. Kitts and Nevis must submit a negative RT-PCR or antigen test taken 72 hours before arrival in the Federation. They must also submit proof of being fully vaccinated and will be required to quarantine for 24 hours. A COVID-19 test sample will be taken during the period of quarantine, and the individuals will be released from quarantine after receiving a negative RT-PCR test. St. Kitts and Nevis is in receipt of 2 field hospitals through the National Emergency Management Agency, or NEMA, according to a press release from the agency. NEMA said that on Sunday, preparations were underway to assemble the hospitals, which were donated by U.S. Southcoms, and training of health practitioners and support staff would begin on Monday. The field hospitals are intended to complement existing health facilities by assisting with the growing cases of COVID-19 in the Federation. As part of activities to commemorate the month of elderly persons, Access Hope Social Club hosted an elderly care drive on Saturday. The Access Hope Social Club is a subsidiary of the home health care business 869 Access Services. The club partnered with businesses, community groups, and volunteers to visit the elderly and shut-ins in different communities. Owner of 869 Access, Markasha Warner, explained that the aim of the club is to assist members and to provide public awareness around the issues that affect the elderly in society.
We are geared to assisting our members, giving awareness to the public and their families. We are also here to assist with the discrimination in the aging process here on the island of St. Kitts.
She noted that items in the care packages include Pampers, hand sanitizers, and food items. Care package recipient Anthony Wills thanked the club and expressed appreciation for the donation.
I'd like to say thank you to Access Hope Social Club for the gift, and I really do appreciate it.
Warner thanked everyone who came on board to assist with accumulating items for the packages and invited interested persons who wish to donate items to contact the club at 667-3016. Regionally, the St. Lucia Teachers Union is standing in solidarity with teachers in the region who may be at risk of losing their vocation due to vaccine mandates. More in this HTS News report.
Vaccination mandates for public servants in neighboring island Antigua and Barbuda continue to be a point of discussion for regional stakeholders. As of Thursday, October 7th, Antigua and Barbuda's Cabinet of Ministers agreed, effective October 15th, 2021, to extend the vaccine mandate to include businesses within the private sector.
Vaccine mandate will be extended to include all of the essential services, both public and private, and the financial service institutions to include the banks, insurance companies, credit unions, and similar organizations. What we want to ensure is that these organizations, these private sector organizations, put in place a necessary regime to ensure that their places are safe for commerce and they are safe for the employees as well. So we would want all of the employees within these organizations to be a part of the mandate.
The interconnectivity of small island developing states in the Caribbean allows for governments and organizations to review policies and prescriptions within the region and assess their viability for implementation. However, despite Antigua and Barbuda's momentous decision, some stakeholders within St. Lucia are against any form of mandatory vaccination.
The St. Lucia Teachers Union is keenly monitoring the situation as it unfolds in St. Lucia. Given the sacrifices that teachers continue to make, the SLTU will fervently oppose any move that will place further strain on teachers.
President for the St. Lucia Teachers Union, Don Howell, speaking on the occasion of World Teachers' Day, made the position of the SLTU clear. The SLTU now stands in solidarity with teachers around the region whose livelihoods may be at stake over decisions not to get vaccinated.
Let us remember our colleagues in the region whose livelihoods are being threatened by mandates made regarding COVID-19.
And finally, in regional news, a permanent secretary in Guyana could be charged with demanding money with menace as she was busted during a sting operation. More in this report from Travis Chase of HGP Nightly News.
There is confirmation from the Criminal Investigations Department at Ivlery that Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs, Sharon Hicks, was Thursday afternoon arrested by police after she was allegedly caught in the sting operation, accepting bribe from a contractor who provides security services to the ministry. Nightly News was told that the sting operation was organized and the police were in receipt of a complaint that the PS had been demanding cash from the contractor in exchange for services at the ministry. In one instance, the contractor complained to the police that PS Hicks had been allegedly withholding her signature from documents until she was paid. Sources familiar with the investigation told Nightly News that during the sting operation, several marked $5,000 bills which were handed over to her by the contractor were allegedly found in her possession when police pounced on her. PS Hicks was released on station bail as a thorough investigation is being carried out. Hicks was appointed to the post of Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs 1 year ago. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Internationally, the World Health Organization recently released an official clinical definition for long COVID. More in this Euronews report.
In September, there were more than 1 million people living in the UK who reported they were suffering from long COVID. That's according to the Office for National Statistics, which says this figure reflects the increase of COVID-19 infection rates in July. It follows the announcement from the World Health Organization that the first official clinical definition of long COVID has been agreed upon after global consultations.
Common symptoms include fatigue, shortness of breath, cognitive dysfunction, but also others which generally have an impact on everyday functioning. Symptoms may be new onset following the initial recovery from the acute episode or persist from the initial illness. And then symptoms can also fluctuate or relapse over time. This is an important step forward to standardize the recognition of patients living with post-COVID-19 condition. We hope it will help clinicians and health workers recognize patients and start them on appropriate treatments and interventions and care pathways. We hope that policymakers and health systems will set up and implement integrated care models to care for these patients.
Those people who work in healthcare, social care and hospitality were affected the most last September in the UK. A recent study has found that 1 in 3 people will suffer from post-COVID symptoms for 3 to 6 months.
There were violent clashes in Rome over the weekend as thousands protested moves to extend Italy's COVID pass to all workplaces from October 15th. Here's more.
There are growing calls for a far-right party to be banned in Italy following this weekend's violent clashes with police at an anti-COVID measures protest. 12 people have now been arrested, including the leaders of the extreme-right Forza Nuova party. Saturday's protests saw demonstrators confronting police and wrecking premises, including the headquarters of the CGIL Trade Union Federation. A number of photos and videos have emerged of mostly male protesters giving fascist salutes. They'd gathered to oppose a new rule requiring COVID-19 vaccines or negative tests to access the workplace. The certification, known as a Green Pass, takes effect on Friday and applies to public and private workplaces. To get the passport, people must either have proof of at least 1 COVID vaccine dose, recovery from the illness in the last 6 months, or a negative test in the previous 48 hours.
And now for the weather. Present weather is cloudy with dust haze. Winds are a gentle breeze of 10 miles per hour from the east. Seas are 1.5 to 1.8 meters or 5 to 6 feet. Weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today will be partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a 20% or slight chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 5:53 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow at 6:03 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey.